Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the pattern change. Now there's so much going on in the weather right now. Not only are we making long range forecasts for the upcoming winter, which by the way is becoming very close. It could be excelled by the upcoming pattern change and brought to us prematurely. But many people are saying, bring it on, we want the snow. And that is what we will be seeing. Many people will be seeing their first snow this week, but we're not going to be talking about the snowstorms in today's video. Today we're just going to be talking about the pattern change, the temperatures that will be coming with this. The snowfall amounts, yeah, they're insane. For October and early November, for Halloween standards, that is. We could get up to 1.5 feet during the winter. 1.5 feet, yeah, that's a lot, but not unheard of. During Halloween time frame, yeah, that's pretty historic. But let's just look at the pattern change itself, because let me tell you, that's going to be historic by itself. If you like this channel, or before I just reminded myself before we get into this, if you like this channel, if you like what I do, if you really just, appreciate this, consider liking the video, leaving a nice comment. I read all comments, unless it slips somewhere under my foot, and I don't get access to it. But I read out most comments, all comments. I may not answer all. But then also consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much. So let's look at the thermodynamics, which is basically just the temperatures, the 2-meter temperature shaded, and at different heights, 700 millibar, 800 millibar, and different crossovers. But for, most people, they're not really worried about this stuff. This is, we could look at the temperature high up in the atmosphere when we're talking about winter storms, yes, but about, like, say, rain to snow or snow to rain, kind of like big icing events. That's when we really look at those. But, when it's just a pattern change, we really just want to focus on the 2-meter temperature anomalies and actual temperatures. And, of course, during the winter, during January, or just whenever it gets cold enough, we look at the wind chills as well. So this is the GFS 2-meter temperature anomaly. You can see that this is what happened this weekend, or this past week, and what's going on right now. Pretty chilly across Texas, and let me tell you, Colorado, Texas, and parts of extreme northeastern New Mexico, and obviously not the whole state of Texas, just the panhandle of Texas, have been seeing ridiculous amounts of snow. I mean, the snow that they've been seeing is, I guess expected in those areas to be, crazy. They always see just crazy weather. That's what Denver is known for in many parts over there. But they've been just seeing a little bit too much of it. They already seen 2, and now a third one's on its way. Winter storm watches have been issued for Denver, Colorado. So that is definitely a concern, but also great news for ski resorts, as this most likely will continue, let me tell you. So right now you can see those temperature anomalies. I mean, we are seeing 20 to 30 degrees below Celsius degrees in some parts of the panhandle of Texas and Colorado. The warmth, notice how it tries getting in here, and it will for a little bit, kind of in between systems or in between patterns. Notice also how it's warm across the east. Let me tell you, there's going to be a big system, a tropical storm that's right now occurring across the south. If you're watching anywhere in the south, there's a good chance that you're seeing some rain, or you saw some rain, or you will be seeing some rain. There's flash flood watches, tornado watches, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings. I mean, there's all sorts of it. It's a whole potpourri of, I don't know what I'm saying. A whole mix of weather, and excluding snow, which that would just be ridiculous to top that all off with. But that's bringing a lot of warm temperatures out ahead of it, some cooler temperatures behind it. But the most of the cold is not really associated with the system. The system may make way for that little, or for that big pattern change, but it's not really the thing that brings the pattern change. Like sometimes you see with big systems in December or just whenever, especially towards the beginning part of the year, or the beginning part of winter, or the late ending part of winter, where we see these big storms that direct the pattern change. Now it looks as if more of the snowstorms will be directed by the pattern, and you can see, I mean, this will just be ridiculous. Tuesday, look at that. The cold is getting into a good portion of the country. Wednesday, excluding I mean, look, even the even the Southwest will be seeing some cold conditions. Notice how below average anomalies are across a good portion of the country. So that's good in a sense. They have been seeing wildfires, cooler temperatures. I guess they won't do much. They really need that rain, but at least it won't be scorching or above average. But the only places that will be noticeably above average is the East Coast, and that's that seems temporarily, as the cold air will move in eventually. But I mean, just look at this. This is October 31st, Halloween. Trick-or-treating is going on. Just look at these anomalies right there again over that Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado panhandle area. I mean, yeah, Kansas and Colorado don't have panhandles, but around that area, if you know what I mean. 20 again to 25 degrees below in Celsius, so that's very significant, very large. And then you can see it moves into the northeast eventually as well, just not as with the same magnitude as it has, or as it impacted parts of Wyoming and Colorado. You may be thinking, okay, well, that passes through, right, and we are now setting onto a warm pattern. Well, not at all. You can see there's another one right here starting to move in. The west really gets a little bit of a relief from this, actually, some above average temperatures. The east, not so much. Before we see this warmth awfully too long, you may be wondering, oh, that's a heat wave, right? Or yeah, maybe, for a day or two, which isn't technically a heat wave. In order for there to be a heat wave, well, see, the thing is, I want to quickly address this. The thing with heat wave, people use it a lot, very liberally, the term heat wave, like, oh, it's December and it's a heat wave. There's no really term for a heat wave in December. A heat wave, meteorologically, used in the summer, is usually used only in the summer, and that's when the temperature is 90 degrees or above. Or at least that's for the Midwest. A good portion of the Midwest is when it's 90 degrees above for more than 3 days. I mean, I know that it's different for portions of the Southwest, or like in Phoenix, where 90 is almost the average. So I'm sure that's probably like around 115. That's where it gets like extremely hot. But probably above 100 is considered a heat wave over there, not above 90. But I mean, I guess if you're looking at 60s in December, you can call that a heat wave, but there's no really definition for that per month, as that changes. I mean, you won't be seeing heat waves, or you won't be seeing 90-degree temperatures in December across the north, but it could still be a heat wave, if it's 60. I mean, compared to the average. And notice how this pattern change. This is the second one coming on Friday, Saturday, October 9th. So not this weekend, not the next weekend. I think the weekend after that, you could see even colder conditions. So that's we're not even going to talk about that. That could change, and it's very far out. We're mainly talking about this bad boy right here. This thing will be bringing very chilly temperatures, very cold temperatures to the good portion of the Midwest and the U.S. And oh my God, guys, it's just one heck of an event. Not only is this snow, across areas in Halloween, or across the time frame of Halloween, across areas that don't usually see snow in Halloween, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri, but also that it's paired up with cold. So this is, giving us a lot of things to talk about. So let's look through this now with the 2-meter temperature shaded. So notice how it gets warmer across a good portion of the Midwest, or the Mid-Atlantic, extreme Eastern Ohio Valley. You can see it gets pretty warm across those areas out ahead of the system. This tropical storm Sunday. This is November 27th, 60, 63 degrees, 67. But then things cool down after that. You can see that, again, that main cool off is not brought by this tropical storm. That thing only kind of brings in a little bit of warmth, not much cool air. The really big thing is just that Arctic blast, basically, you could call it, pretty much an Arctic blast. Tuesday, October 29th, 2019, you could see the frost, the freezes, hard freezes in anywhere basically in the blue line, or the northwest of that blue line. Even though these locations 36, 37, 31, 45, that could, maybe not 45, but 36, 37, that could still definitely have some patchy frost in those areas, patchy scattered frost, as, if it's a low-lying area and it's clear skies, that could definitely drop down. But then notice how, just look at the mountains. Look at the mountains. It's insane. Negative 20 degrees possibly in Colorado. And yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You may be wondering, oh, well, that's in the mountains. The average in the mountains is, obviously much colder than it is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or Chicago, or New York City. But it still should not be negative 20 degrees. That is about, so it's negative 20. The average probably is around, during the nights, 10 maybe. Tops, or bottom if you're counting that way up. But negative 20 is really as cold as it gets for October, even when it's extreme, and when it's in an extreme October, typically it wouldn't get that cold, but you could see on average it would be probably somewhere around, the 30s, just like this. This would be like an average look at this, but -20. The GFS may be over exaggerating, but still, damn guys, that is very, very chilly. And we are looking at the scattered light frost to be occurring for the rest even after this pattern change really subsides. You can see this is still Saturday, November 2nd. This is Friday, November 1st in the morning. This is Thursday morning. You can see very chilly as well. And this is Wednesday morning, the coldest probably for a good portion of Colorado. So many areas seeing the end of the growing season, but then seeing light scattered patchy frost across the United States throughout, like kind of between those pattern changes, between after that big first one and before that second big boy that comes in. But notice how this one starts approaching. We may get a little bit of a warm up, some 50s, 60s. This would be pleasant, guys. This would be some pleasant weather. But then, all things just break loose. I don't even want to show you some of these temperatures. Look at that, 20s, 30s as far south as Mississippi, Georgia. This would be incredible. And look at that, 4, 2, 1 scattered, pretty widespread across the north. And this is what I thought would be occurring. Direct weather, many other forecasters, we were laughed at, we were criticized, but again, look who's laughing now. So that's all I want to say. I could show you the European as well. I don't have the actual temperatures, but I do have the 500 millibar height anomaly. I do have the temperatures. I could show you them, but it's on a different website. I don't really want to load it now. It's basically showing similar things what the GFS is showing. The only thing is it only goes out to 240 hours, but up until the 240-hour range, they're agreeing on most things. And if we were to go through this, you could see. Just wait for this to load. Here's that big pattern change that comes through. The European right there has that big storm also with it, and the GFS may not as much, but then you can see the chill continues, and then the European is also indicating maybe a possible warm-up coming in, and we'll just have to wait and see whether or not it shows that big pattern change for the second part, kind of like that, for the first week or two in November. So, yeah, you can see this 8 to 14 day outlook. It's still showing below average temperatures for a good portion of the country, and this is way after the Halloween time frame. This is from the 2nd through the 8th, and below average for a good portion of the country. That usually makes sense. The chillier it is, usually the drier air. And then October 31st through November 4th, that's kind of like that big pattern change that's going to be occurring. Look, the southern U.S. will be getting in on this 100% as well. So, hang there tight if you're still seeing hot temperatures. I don't think many people are, but you could see below average temperatures are expected with below average conditions west of kind of the Mississippi, and east of it pretty above average. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.